Thanks, Riv. We're happy to have Zion Spartan from Victorious Dignitas joining us here at the desk. Pretty hard-fought win there, but I want to jump right into the beginning of the game where we saw a Gragas jungle come out. Tell me where you think that came from.
I honestly have no idea. I saw the Gragas pick, and I'm like, all right, that's probably a Gragas top. And then all of a sudden, it's a Renekton last pick. I'm like, oh, what just happened? Is that Gragas jungle? And we definitely didn't expect that one. But it kind of surprised us. But honestly, it felt like it didn't have that much impact in the game.
Yeah, you banned out Evelynn, and you also banned out Nunu, and then took Lee Sin first pick. What were you expecting from Helios?
We were probably just expecting the Elise pick because he's a great Elise. He likes to play that champion a lot. He puts a lot of pressure on the map. So we were surprised when he decided to go Gragas over Elise, which I think he's done really well on.
Yeah. All right, so seeing that Gragas jungle come in and then seeing the Renekton, did that change your guys' game plan at all going into the game?
We knew that if we had matched lanes that I would get really far behind, and I did. I got solo killed. That was really bad of me, and then I got dove again, so I was really far behind. We knew I'd get a little far behind, but not that far behind. That kind of threw a wrench in our plans, but we were able to pick it back up with my team got a lot of picks, and we just had really good vision control, and we were able to turn it around at all those Barons, and surprisingly, we somehow didn't throw at any of them, so that's another good point for us.
Yeah, and a lot of that pressure came from Shifter in the mid lane. Like, he was going up against Pobelter, who had a fantastic Rise game from start to finish, but then Shifter kind of just clicked on and started getting picks on Crepo and all across the map. And having the strength of your mid laner, what does that do for your team just to open up the map and do what you do best?
I think Shifter does really well on champions where he can get picks on people because he's really good at abusing the vision and things like that. So I think when he gets picks like that, that just opens up a lot of the map for us. And yeah, he definitely did a lot of work that game, along with everyone else on our team. Crumbs, Cutie, and Kiwi just really stepping up that game for me. And we just won that game as a team solidly because I was behind, but we were still able to come back, and they had a strong late game, but we just played around that really well.
Yeah, absolutely. At one point even, we watched Crepo recall, sell his gold generation item just to pick up a Negatron cloak in order to negate some of that Syndra damage. So when you see something like that, does that allow you to then build a little bit differently and kind of play your own game as he's taking the weight off your shoulders?
Yeah, that kind of, in team fights, in terms of them building a lot of magic resist, that definitely helps the AD carry out the most because they have all those Negatrons, so Cutie Pie can just rip through them. It helps me a little bit because I'm Jax, but as you saw that game, I was mostly split pushing and flanking, so I wasn't really trying to do that much damage on the champions. It's all about my pressure on the map. So I think it definitely helped out our AD carry a lot. For me, it didn't matter so much.
Yeah, and we're going to bring up a Baron on your screen, but Dignitas is actually going to take this one. So walk me through. It's about 34 minutes into the game. How do you guys walk out with this one?
Okay, so this is the Baron where they went for Dragon, so I teleported over, we immediately went for it. The calls go on Helios, don't make sure he can't steal the Baron. We got it, we got the Baron, we didn't throw, and then we just back out because we got the Baron, we got everything we wanted, and that's another point for Dignitas.
Very clean.
Yeah, we're slowly going to take away the theme that Dignitas throws at Barons. We're going to start winning games at Baron, and that's what you saw right there.
I like it. Well, that is a good way to start. Now, that is the point in the game where you start pulling everything back together. The gold lead comes back into something that you can handle, and we start scaling into late game. Now, I want to touch on team fights in the late game as we saw EG building tons of tanky items, right? Banshee's Veils across the board, lots of health. How do team fights evolve when you get to that point, right? You see all this tankiness, positioning, targeting, burst potential. Where does it start?
Okay, so the later it goes on a team fight, one missed position from even a tank can lose you a fight. So they started building tanky because they didn't want to get one shot from Syndra, and that did alleviate a little bit of pressure for us from them having less damage. But in that team fight, what was most important was just knowing the range of their carries. You know, Ryze, every single fight you saw him flashing in to root Syndra because Ryze's range is so low that if you stay back and play around the fact that he has to flash in on a carry, it's really easy to win a team fight from that. And you saw us just abusing the long range of Syndra, abusing the range of the culling to start these fights, and that's what really allowed us to just play around the fact that they had stronger late game champions.
And now you guys are tied with CLG at the top for first. Are you guys watching the scoreboard very closely, and who are you looking out for?
Yeah, we were watching the scoreboards closely. I was a little sad that Complexity lost to CLG. I'm like, they're up 5K. They got this. They can't possibly. Oh, no.
The blue shell, come on.
Yeah, I was hoping they could pull that through. But yeah, we're definitely looking at the standings. It doesn't really matter that much because it's if we can win all our games, because eventually we're going to play CLG again. Haven't done so well against them in the LCS, but I think we'll have a better match next time. And yeah, I think it just really matters if we can just keep getting better and learning from our mistakes. So I hope we can just keep improving from that.
Final question. You got TSM tomorrow. What's the preparation look like going into that game, especially coming off of a win like this?
Well, Scar just gave us a stern talking, and he's like, if you guys lose, Reggie's going to be mod in my chat, so you guys better not make sure that happens. Better make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm really scared because when Scar is angry, nobody wants to be near him. He's a scary man, you know.
So we have another bet. Is that an official bet that I just heard of right there?
I don't know. Modding him in the chat, it's not as big as a bowl cut.
No, not
Yeah,
quite.
it's not the same extent, but you know what? It's nice to have a little friendly rivalry going between us and TSM. It makes the games a little more interesting.
Exactly. A little bit more motivation as if you didn't need it already. Well, thank you, Zion Spartan, for all of your insight. Coming up after the break, we'll be seeing what you have to say over on Twitter in a segment we call What You've Been Saying on Twitter. Then it's back onto the Rift for CLG versus Cloud9. Stay tuned.